Welcome to Get Real with Brian Stuckey, an all-new program to get you real information about how real estate affects you, your family, and your community. Brought to you in part by Bankers Network Corporation. And now, Brian Stuckey.
Good evening. Welcome to Get Real. I've got a wonderful program for you tonight. First of all, in the property page, they've got, backed by popular demand, Tracy Pina on the program. She's with Intero Real Estate Services. We haven't done this for a while. We're going to talk what's going on in the real estate market. A lot of people are confused if it's a great time to buy or not, and we're going to find out through Tracy's comments. Then after that, in the lifestyle segment, I have Paul Horsager. He's with the Economy Roofing. It's very important that you select the right contractor in order to do work around your home, and when it comes to a roof, that's crucial. Paul Horsager is going to be talking about that. And then finally, one thing that I'm always excited about promoting is Celebrate America, and that's an annual patriotic program that's going to be at Shoreline Amphitheater. I have Jon Lugo coming on the program. He is the co-producer of Celebrate America. We're going to be talking about this year's program and how it all got started. But first, we got Tracy Pina coming on our property page. My guest is Tracy Pina. She's an outstanding real estate agent. I know she just got her broker's license, which I'm excited for you about, Tracy. And we're going to be talking about what's, we actually haven't done this for a while, what's going on in the market out there. And I know it's an interesting market these days. There's a little bit of this, and a little bit of that. It's just not your common marketplace out there. So what are you seeing out there?
We're seeing a ton of activity in the lower price points. So to give you a basic example, at the lowest end with the bank-owned homes, this market is moving quickly. 20 to 30 offers, no joke, for every property right now. And this has been since April. So come April, May, and right now we're seeing a ton of activity from, I would say, 850 down. This is partly due to inventory, so a lot of the banks have held back their inventory from people that have unfortunately lost their homes, and they're trickling them out very slowly. So we have a mini market right now where we don't have a lot of inventory, but we have a lot of interest.
Yeah, that means a lot of frustration for buyers out there.
Huge.
If you're saying 20, 30 offers, and you said no kidding, so I take you for your word for that.
Yeah.
So with that, what are the various ways that somebody can purchase a property? You mentioned REOs, real estate owned. There's also short sales. Why don't you explain a little bit the various ways that people can purchase a home? Because you would agree that it's a great time to buy, correct?
Definitely.
Yeah. So what are
So there's three market segments that we're looking at when we look at market stats, and one is the short sale. And what a short sale means is the home is in pre-foreclosure. So the owner has gotten issued a notice of default saying that they are behind on their mortgage payment. And a realtor will help those people try and sell their home. And the reason that's good for the owner is it takes less points off of your credit score, which as a lender you can explain why that's important. Once you lose your home and you don't get it sold on a short sale, then it goes to the court steps, which we've talked about before. Yeah. And there's very few people that can actually buy there because it's an all-cash purchase.
Sure, they're not going to wait for a lender to say, we're going to approve these people. No, you need to come in with cash.
Exactly.
Okay.
So there's about 14, maybe 5 to 14 of those every week that sell on the courthouse steps here in Santa Clara County. And then after they don't sell at the courthouse steps, they move to the bank and they become bank-owned properties, and they come back on the market in about 3 months, and they price them competitively to get them moved right away. And that's the market where we're seeing 20 to 30 offers per property right now this week.
Yeah.
And then there's the regular sales, and it's a great time for those because you don't have banks and you have motivated sellers and you've got buyers that can buy, and there's more opportunity there for your regular buyer.
Yeah, it almost sounds funny about regular sales. You just don't see them out there because, I wanted to ask, you mentioned there's not a lot of high-end things moving.
Right.
So when you say high-end, you're talking about the Los Gatos Hills or Saratoga? Or?
Yeah, I would say 900 and up is the slower market. Definitely like Los Gatos, since you say Los Gatos, the closer to $1 million you are, so 1 to 1.4 million. we're getting movement there. 1.4 and up, it gets slower, and you have a lot of choices if you're a buyer. And again, going back to you on the lending front, the problem for these buyers is they're not able to get the financing options like they used to. And so we're at a struggle with that. So we keep waiting for your side of the world to come and help us out.
Trust me, I think everybody's wishing that would happen. And the greatest thing in the world in California that would happen is that they take the conforming loan amount of 417 and bring it up to 850 or something like that, you know.
Right, and there's been the talks about that, but we haven't seen that yet.
No,
So
and
we're
that's the thing. That's why you're seeing the low end, that, as you're mentioning, is because a lot of people can get into the 417 and below. The underwriting is much easier in doing that than, of course, anything over 417. But now, what would you recommend to buyers then at this point? I mean,
if I had a buyer in that market, I would say be patient. Let's keep looking, but let's not get our hopes up, and know that there's more inventory coming. Like I said, this is a mini market right now. But in about 60 days, you're going to see the banks start releasing more inventory, which means it's going to make it a more balanced market again. Right now, we just have such a seller's market in that end that it's very hard for buyers, and it's frustrating. So for buyers out there, be patient and wait. Come 60 days, you'll see more opportunity.
a lot of them probably could use a therapist about now too, don't you think? And,
I think that's part of a realtor's role.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's why you're very well suited for that, because you're very good, you know, with people and everything else. And for sellers, what would you recommend?
Put your house on the market now.
Yeah.
Yeah, houses are flying. So a couple weeks ago at Communication Hill, a neighborhood in San Jose, we had a ton of active homes not moving. And then a couple weeks ago, they all went under contract. Everything's pending up there.
Okay.
And so now is the time, because there's low inventory, lots of buyers want to buy.
Okay. Tracy Pina has been my guest. She's with Intero Real Estate Services. If you'd like to get a hold of her, you can get a hold of me at brian@4bestloan.com or 408-269-8366, and I'll make that contact for you. Next, in the lifestyle segment, we have Paul Horsager with Economy Roofing. We'll be right back. My next guest is Paul Horsager. He's been on the program quite a few times. Paul is with Economy Roofing. He is the general contractor, he's the general manager for Economy Roofing. And he's going to be talking about what we've talked about before that people seem to like. It's very, very important. Your home is flat out your home. It's the greatest investment that you have. It's your place. It means everything to you, and it's important that the people that work on your home, they have the what it takes in order to do some of the work around your house, and you want to make sure they're insured. So, Paul, thanks for coming on the show. You agree with everything I just said?
I believe I agree with everything you said.
So, what prompts that to want to talk about this? Because it must be frustrating, because it's probably something where a lot of times it's just who's going to get it done the cheapest.
Okay, here's the issue that we're having during this recessionary time, is that contractors are willing to drop their prices drastically. Okay, but one of the problems is that we're getting kind of thrown into the boat with a bunch of other people who are actually working out of the back of their truck, and so it's still you have to, it's kind of a buyer's beware market. So you have to be very careful. So what we're seeing is that some prices are really being dropped when it comes to re-roofing or any kind of construction that's going on in your home, but you still got to be careful. And so homeowners really need to do their research when they're going out and they're looking at and evaluating proposals. Case in point, there was a situation, in fact, let me go ahead and grab this from you. Right. Case in point, this is an article right out of Reader's Digest. You ever read Reader's Digest before? No, you don't do it?
I used to.
Well, here's a situation where a guy, it says here right at the top, says the cheapest bid may not be the homeowner's best bet. But here's a situation, a guy named Tom, who hired a contractor, a roofing contractor, and during the construction, what happened was that the employee, the roofing contractor's employee, fell off the roof and broke his neck, and in fact, was paralyzed from the neck down. Mm-hmm. And so during this, and then what happened to the contractor is the contractor decides to skip town. So it's real care. So Tom, who's a homeowner, he ended up having to get his roof done. Not only that, he had to go out and hire a different contractor to get his roof done, but he faced losing the home over this whole incident. What happened was that the employee, because the contractor didn't have any insurance, went out and hired an attorney and then went after Tom. Mm-hmm. And so Tom ended up having to, his homeowner's insurance responded to the claim, but because the coverage limit was inadequate, Tom was held responsible and was basically had to compensate the injured employee with his own money, and in fact, he faced losing his house over the incident.
Okay.
So it's real. You have to be real careful. So what has happened is that this is an article out of Qualified Remodeler magazine, and this is a great article. And what this is basically contractors, or a Qualified Remodeler is a magazine that did a survey of 700 consumers who actually got their work done, whether it be in the house, doing remodeling inside the house, remodeling outside, windows, doors, and so forth. But they surveyed the consumers. So after the work was done, they went back and asked a few questions. Questions like, would you hire your contractor again? And here inside this thing, it actually gives a very detailed report.
Well, without going through the details on that,
Okay, sure.
why don't you pretty much kind of just, is there a lot of problems that people regret after the fact that they use a certain contractor, if a contractor at all? There's some people that get, piece things together where they really don't have a contractor.
Well, right, okay, well, I wasn't really prepared to answer that question, but I'll try to answer that.
Well, it's my show, Paul.
I understand. Okay, so your question again was if what now?
No. It's a lot of times people, you're kind of alluding to, whether they liked using their contractor at the.
Oh, right. Okay. So anyways, in the report, it basically describes that 50% of the people who had their work done, these 700 people who were surveyed, said that, look, I wouldn't use this contractor again. And the questions are, would you hire the contractor again, or would you refer him to a friend? Now, 50%, Brian.
Yeah.
And if you're doing 50% of your loans, we're bad. We're no good.
Yeah.
I mean, that would make you a bad loan guy.
I wouldn't expect. I would run away to another country.
Right, you'd run away to another country. But let me put it to you this way: what if you're making TVs and 50% of your TVs were bad?
Yeah.
And so what it boils down to is communication. In the report, it also describes that communication is clearly the success factor in actually getting the work done properly. And what we're talking about is communication before the job starts. For example, this is what's going to happen: A, B, C, D, all the way down the list. And explain before, and then actually when it does happen, explaining it or making a phone call to your clients and saying, okay, this is what happened, this has transpired, and having that open communication.
Okay.
Because what would happen in the report, it actually says that people who were communicated with were very satisfied during, before, and after the job was all wrapped up and done, versus the person who was not communicating with their clients.
Communication is key.
Absolutely.
In any kind of business, if people know what you're doing. We just have a minute left, and I know you want to talk about successful.
Well, here's just something that I can send to you, and this
Okay.
goes over some huge key points. For example, identifying the problem, what's going on that triggered me to actually spend money on my house. Okay, so you want to make sure your contractor really clearly describes the problem. 2, what kind of products are out there that will last a long time? Because there are manufacturers that are going out of business trying this new eco-technology stuff. There's just not proven. So people, what kind of people are going to be? How long have they been in business? Are they a member of any Better Business Bureaus? Are they a member of the National Roofing Contractors Association? And the last thing is the price. I mean, how do you determine if that price is fair and it's reasonable?
Are they above board is the bottom line.
Right.
So Paul Horsager has been our guest. He is the general manager with Economy Roofing. The reason why I have him on this program, I've had him on a number of times, is because he's loaded with integrity. And so if you have any questions for Paul, then you can go ahead and get a hold of him. I think his information was there, but you can get a hold of me as well, Brian at 4bestloan.com or 408-269-8366. We'll be right back with the Spotlight Segment with Jon Lugo. Actually, I made a mistake. It's a by the numbers segment where I'm just going to go ahead and look in the camera right now and talk to you a little bit about, well, if you're interested in refining, we talked to Tracy Pina just a little bit ago there. It's a great time to go out and buy a home. Right now, there's a lot of investors out there buying second homes or what they're going to do with rental properties. But whatever you might do in thinking about buying a new home, and by the way, refinancing has been a great opportunity been out there as well. Rates have just recently gone up, but they're going to go back down, I believe. And but the key here for anything that you do, if you're looking to purchase something or if you're looking to refinance, what you need to do is you need to put all the ducks in line. Unfortunately, they don't have these stated income loans where you can declare your own income and it's easy to do. Now, if you own a business now, get ready to bring your corporate tax returns in there. Some K-1s if you have a certain percentage of ownership, 25% or more. There's just a lot of things going on, folks, so I just need to tell you, get your records in order. get your credit report in order. If you need help with that, please get a hold of me at 408-269-8366 or Brian at 4bestloan.com, or get a hold of whoever you work with on these things and get yourself in a position before you even go out and look at properties, get everything lined up, cleaned up. We'll be right back with the weekly spotlight with Jon Lugo. I love this guy, Jon Lugo. He is the, I forget your name. He's a pastor over at Bethel Church. More amazingly, a lot of people, if they don't attend that church, what they have seen before are Christmas spectaculars, let's say. They've had these at the Center of Performing Arts downtown San Jose, but over the years they've been having it at Bethel Church, which is an outstanding venue to go watch Christmas spectacular. But now we're going to talk about Celebrate America. If you haven't gone to one of these, they're equally as spectacular as Christmas spectacular. And last year was the first year that they had it at the Shoreline Amphitheater, and they're doing it again this year, John. So I mean, I didn't know for sure if you would go back, with such a large place like that, but the powers that be decided.
Decided in an economy where people are looking for hope and some family-friendly activities, we wanted to supply that for our community. We love here in San Jose. We love the Silicon Valley, so we wanted to do something that was going to bring joy to the folks. Wow,
it's interesting. I'm not going to follow my sequence of questions here, but it's I know that San Jose, downtown San Jose, usually has a fireworks display, probably at Spartan Stadium or somewhere around, and they're not going to do it this year. And so is it true that they've went ahead and endorsed Celebrate America and suggested people go watch this?
The America Fest, what you're talking about, was canceled, and what we have seen thus far is that Council Member Pete Constant has made us part of his email blast. We just got a copy of that. So we are trying to present ourselves as a viable alternative for people that are looking for a good family event for the 4th of July weekend, and it's free to the public. It's $5 to park. You can bring your own food. The doors to the event at Shoreline, it's a great venue. The doors will open at 4 for a lot of family activities, and the stage show will start at 8 and go till 9:30, and we'll have a laser show at the end of it, and a choir and orchestra and kids, and it's a great variety show, but it's also a great opportunity to celebrate who we are as Americans and to honor the military. We are really thankful for all that they have done and are doing to defend our country, to keep us safe. So.
Okay. Now let's talk. We got a little bit of time here, so I don't want to rush through this. I want to kind of build a crescendo up until what this one's going to be like this year. Okay. But what's the background of Celebrate America? I mean, Bethel Church has always put outstanding productions, whether it be the Celebrate America or Christmas Spectacular. Children's programs have been outstanding across the board. But how did this start? Because Easter is also a very important holiday for the Christian church. Yeah. But you chose to go Celebrate America, and why is that such an important event?
I think one of the reasons is because we are thankful people for God has granted us freedom in America. We have our faults. We have a tough economy going on right now. I think that's pretty obvious to everyone. But nonetheless, it's still the greatest country on earth as far as we're concerned. And we think that there needs to be opportunity for people to simply come together without a political agenda, simply to celebrate who we are as Americans and to have a little bit of fun and to learn a little bit about who we are, some of our history, some of the interesting things that have happened in our past, what's brought us here today, and again, to honor those serving our country in the military. So it was simply a desire for us to open up our venue, at least at the time when it was at the church, in the church auditorium, to allow our people, our neighbors, that kind of opportunity. We are really fortunate to have been part of the San Jose area for over 60 years, and we love our neighbors and wanted to give them a place to come.
Okay. Now, putting on these productions is, well, first of all, they're amazing.
Well, thank you.
People see them, and you wonder how can you possibly outdo what I just saw. People walk out feeling that way. they don't say that right away. They're just kind of immersed in what they just got through seeing. But when they approach the next one, they're thinking like, how can they outdo what they just did last year? And so it's a challenge to you, I'm sure, all the time to do that. So you and Harold Litvin are co-producers of this. And I think it starts with you in a brainstorming session, or is it something that just throughout the year an idea comes in, hey, I got to put that for Celebrate America? What's that like?
Well, we're looking at Celebrate America material all year long. Okay. And it's not a seasonal endeavor as far as we're concerned. We're always listening to the radio, and people are throwing us comments, and we're also looking through really interesting parts of American history. I've had Pearl Harbor survivors. I've had Nisei soldiers. We did a segment on Rosie the Riveter. I mean, things that are so intriguing about the American public and what they've done to involve themselves in the success of this country through the years. So there's plenty of stuff to draw from. We resist the temptation to try to outdo ourselves. What we want to do is to find out some poignant things and do them to the best of our ability. Mm-hmm. And thankfully, so far, it's worked out great.
Okay, but primarily, and I'm patting you on the back too, I think you and Harold will sit there and just, eventually you got to come together and formulate something. Yeah. So you go ahead and do that, and maybe during the course of the year you talk about ideas and stuff, but I imagine you sit down at some point, all right, let's get to work.
There's a conceptual time for sure when we gather together, and Harold and I, if we've done, probably the thing we've done most right, is that we've surrounded ourselves with really creative, dedicated people that are all part of our church. And there's such an exponential thing that happens when you bring 5 or 10 talented people who have a desire to really do something of excellence, and you set them free to just dream the big dream. For us, even going to Shoreline, I mean, that might have been an initial idea, but the only reason that was successful at all was because exponentially more and more people got involved. So the conceptual time is key. Harold has surrounded himself with a team of directors to which he assigns particular scenes, and they rehearse, and there's a whole casting procedure that they go by. And the most fortunate thing we have is that we have had people that have worked with us over the years, time and time again, and that's been a great experience for us, just to feel a sense of continuity, regardless of what production it's been and where it has been. We can draw from the same pool of talented people.
Yeah, and they're eager to do that because they love putting on great shows. And I got to tell you that the last Christmas Spectacular, and even last year's Celebrate America, the dancing just gets better and better. And it's just something that yeah, okay, let's put some kids out there or dancers out there or whatever. But it's brought things to a level because the dancing has been outstanding. Choreographed with the music, that's the live music that's going on as well. So,
well, thank you, Brian. And that's Becky Shannon, who's also a key person in my department, is kind of the head choreographer, and she's also got another gentleman by the name of TJ and Kathy Self, who apparently, from what I understand, painted your backdrops. Very talented, artistic lady, and some other gals who are involved in choreography. Again, it's a team of people that are not only talented, but they're really passionate about this. We want to do our best. We believe that the people that are coming to see what we do deserve our best. We believe that God grants us a certain amount of abilities, and we want to use them to glorify Him and give that our best as well. So for us, it's great to see the team pull something like this off.
Yeah. As you say that too, it also, when people are thinking about going this, they see that it's, a church puts this on. Mm-hmm. It's a Christian church, and let's say that they're not of the Christian faith, mm-hmm. or they're agnostic, mm-hmm. or they're atheist, or whatever. Does this scare them away? Are they going to get hit over the head with a Bible? I think is a main thing, and I already know the answer to that. Mm-hmm. It's a very safe environment for those. It's a patriotic thing. And
right.
Would you?
We love our neighbors. Mm-hmm. Period. And so this is an opportunity to do all the things that I've previously stated, to get together and celebrate. You will hear about who God is. You will probably hear who Jesus is. Because that's who we are and that's what we believe. But by the same token, we care desperately to create a kind of a safe environment. And we want to be friendly people. We want to be good neighbors. That's one of the primary reasons we do what we do. And then what happens after that happens after that.
Well, as you mentioned before, with all, the fact that we're in 2 wars right now, the fact that the economy, the way it's going, people are kind of down. This is one thing that kind of lifts their spirits up. Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead, Gopher, and show the the different stills that we have. And John, I don't know if you can see, but there's the Celebrate America.
Right.
And again, it's Friday, July 3rd. It's free, as John had mentioned, and that's a wonderful thing at these. Maybe pay $5 for parking, but the program itself is free. Friday, July 3rd, that's 2009, and it's at the Shoreline Amphitheater. Can we go ahead to the next one? We're going to kind of get a... Why don't you go ahead and... What is this, John?
Well, this was 50 States in Rhyme. It was one of the musical numbers that we did. It was really fun, in which this young lady was trying to sing the names of all 50 states at a breakneck pace.
A little speed singing thing.
Little speed singing
She took
thing,
the Evelyn Wood...
yeah, she did. Like an auctioneer kind of.
Yeah, go ahead. Next one.
This was a real hit number for us. The gentleman playing is part of our orchestra. His name is John Krause. He's also a teacher in our School of Music, wonderful violin teacher and performer. And this was part of the laser show. He just knocked it out of the park.
It's a beautiful laser.
Show.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and move quick on these. We just have a couple minutes.
That's
here.
part of the dancing cast that you were talking about before.
Okay.
And this is part of the family activities. Great section for kids and for youth. We'll have a petting zoo and all kinds of different activities. This is the color guard that's part of the start of the production. Always a wonderful, moving part of our production. And again, part of the family activities, the rock climbing wall. You'll see at least one or not two of those this year.
All right.
And that's a shot of the whole,
show.
the laser light show at the end.
Yep.
It was really fun. We were really proud of everyone.
Great, and you can see the choir. That's one thing. There's 100 people in that choir. It's an amazing musical thing that everybody needs to make, the whole family. So we hope you enjoyed those pictures. We just got a couple seconds left. I do want to go over if we can get my face back on the... There we go. Celebrate America. I want to encourage you all to go out to it. It's an amazing program. You're going to walk out feeling really good about yourself. They honor the veterans. I'm going to tell you right now, it's one of those things that it's going to be an emotional roller coaster for you. There's times that you're crying with tears of joy and just happiness. The music is beautiful to the ear and the eyes, but there's all that. You're crying also because there are some points of sorrow because you just stop and reflect about what it costs to be a free country as we are. So I want to encourage you to get to Celebrate America once again Friday, July 3rd at Shoreline Amphitheater. It is free. And just plan on bringing the whole family. There's family activities and everything else. So, John, I wish you well.
Thank you very
program,
much.
So,
thank you.
And so we'll hope to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight here on Get Real. We'll see you next week. Good night.